Hello, hello. Welcome back to More with Dr. Elly, our new season. And it is so good to be back. I am your host, Dr. Eleanor Conjay. Now, I want to go ahead and clarify a couple of things. Usually, when you see me on this couch, it is on the couch with Dr. Elly, but we're changing up a few things at ETK Leadership Solutions. Now, before I even get started to tell you what we are changing up and why we are changing it, one of the things that I love about running a leadership company is that we have to stay innovative all the time. We got to understand exactly what our audience, all of you, our community, is asking for, and as such, adapt to offer you exactly that which you need in your life. When you offer an intellectual service like leadership and communications, and also community building, you really have to pay attention. I think more than any other business, and I'm a multiple business owner, you got to pay attention because you are in the business of people. You are in an industry that is focused on giving people what they need to become the best of who they are, to become the best leaders, to become the best people. And as y'all know, at the heart and soul of our leadership development company is women. We are here to serve women. Therefore, when we were analyzing our numbers and our feedback and our engagement between On the Couch with Dr. Elly and More with Dr. Elly, we recognize that what you are actually seeking more of is the format of More with Dr. Elly, where you get to have more of me, more conversation, not just with me, but also all the different guests that we have planned for you to meet. In an age of podcasts, and there are a lot of podcasts out there sharing all kinds of information with all of us, the competition is real to keep your attention. But for us, it's not about competition. Really, it's about ensuring that whatever it is that we're talking about is something that you need. And as such, this format of More with Dr. Elly actually gives us the opportunity to dive deeper into the topics that matter to you the most. As such, week after week, we're going to be touching on different topics, but we're going to be really going deep into those topics. And when we do have our guests, we're going to be having conversations with our guests that allow us to learn from their lives, learn from their self-leadership, how they're navigating different challenges, and how they are making their own kind of impact in the world around them. 2026 is an incredible year already for us at ETK Leadership Solutions, and we are so excited to have you join us for More with Dr. Elly. I want to go ahead and encourage you, wherever you are watching us from, make sure that you subscribe and make sure that you share this episode with someone that you think might need it. Today's conversation is really going to be easy. I want to just really explain to you guys why it matters for us to really focus on topics that all of you are asking us to talk about. Another thing is, I want you to also feel comfortable to send us an email with the questions that you might have. That way on this podcast, we can actually take the time to answer your questions. One of the things that you're going to see with us at ETK this year is that we are keeping things much simpler, but we are going much deeper. Again, because we want to make sure that we are having conversations and discussions about the things that you need to hear from us as a leadership and communications firm. So in going much deeper, y'all gonna see me really nerd out. I'm gonna be nerding out a lot, discussing topics in depth, bringing in some of the research that I'm also engaged in, working with women leaders, especially minority women leaders in Europe and African women leaders across the African continent. I'm gonna be bringing in some of those case studies, examples of the kinds of conversations that I'm having in coaching, and also some of the things that I'm navigating in my own leadership as a tool for us to be able to grow together. So the curriculum at ETK is much deeper this year, and it is a dual curriculum. So what we're doing on one hand is we're offering you a chance to learn through the traditional scope of leadership. And in the traditional scope of leadership, our first topic is going to be something that you told us that you wanted to learn more about, which is on personal branding. How do you set yourself apart in digital spaces as well as online? How do you distinguish what your message is? How do you gain authority in your industry so that you can serve the people that you were meant to serve as a person? So our first topic is going to be on personal branding, but it is something that you told us that you wanted to hear. And in the traditional leadership, we're also going to be talking about executive presence. We're going to be talking about public speaking. We're going to be talking about self-leadership, your strengths, imposter syndromes, topics that you confront on a daily basis in your leadership and personal development journey. So this traditional leadership teaching is really on how do you lead? How do you gain the skills necessary to become even more effective in your leadership, in your personal development, in your growth as an individual, in a way that impacts positively the organizations that you work for and the enterprises that you are building. So that is our traditional leadership curriculum. And you will see polls and surveys from us. And next to the traditional leadership curriculum is our cultural leadership. We want to go ahead and talk about the soul of leadership. Why do we lead, and whom are we leading, and why are we leading in the ways in which we are leading? So this is going to be distinguished by our annual theme at ETK. For those of you who've been following us for a very long time, you know that in the context of ETK Leadership Weekend, usually we do have an annual theme. But this year and moving ahead, we're going to be having this theme lead our conversations around cultural leadership in the whole course of the year. And then that's going to culminate at ETK Leadership Weekend, where we're really going to ground these knowledges through the teaching and the speaking of all of our different speakers who are going to be gracing us in Geneva every single September. So a lot is happening at ETK Leadership Solutions, but I am so excited because we truly do believe that this is the right direction. Now, let me tell you the reason why for me it was so important for us to really just go much deeper and keep things as simple as possible. So I say it all the time that at the core of who I am, y'all, I'm really a nerd. I'm a little brainiac. And one of the challenges about building a company truly and expanding the way that we have is that I just haven't had enough time to nerd out in the ways that I would love to. As y'all know, growing any kind of business is not easy. Alongside the teaching and the research that I do, it's really a lot. So sometimes I find myself really desperate for time to do the kind of thinking and reading and writing that really energizes my soul, which is really embedded in theory and research. So in changing up some of the ways in which we work at ETK, it actually affords me the possibility and the time to really do that which energizes me the most, which is nerd out, read, research, talk to all of you more on a one-on-one integrated basis so that I can actually take those lessons through the research into our integrated practice as a leadership firm. So I'm really excited because in a way it is responding to your needs, but really it's also serving me and my desires and needs to really delve deep into topics and to be nerdy as often as possible. So I'm really, really excited about this year. The energy already in 2026 has been absolutely invigorating. This January, y'all, we did so much in terms of strategy, but we also kicked off the year with an incredible collaborative event with Waka Waka and welcomed the incredible author Danjuma to Geneva. This literally just happened last week and it was so special because in the heart of collaboration, y'all have heard me share this African proverb all the time. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. And this event really allowed us to go far because we collaborated and y'all, we had so many people at iLab Design right here in Geneva. It was such a special conversation between Danjuma and Uget. Go and check out the highlights on Instagram as well as the photos. It was so special and a beautiful way to usher our community into 2026. And now here we are. We get to nerd out. And before I go ahead and round up this very first episode in our first season of 2026, I want to go ahead and introduce you to the theme of 2026. You guys have heard me talk about it lightly, but I want to go ahead and use this moment to introduce you to the 2026 cultural leadership theme of ETK Leadership Solutions, which is my sister's keeper. All right, go ahead and give it a round of applause. My sister's keeper. This theme is so personal to me because I have been made by community. I am truly the product of the women who have kept me. There's no way that I would be who I am today had it not been for the women who have opened doors for me, for the women who have advised me, who have coached me, who have corrected me to ensure that I show up in the best of who I can be, really focusing on my gifts and my talents and using them to serve my world. This theme is so that we can learn together as women to keep each other. One of the things that I keep explaining is that you don't have to be best friends with someone to be their keeper. It is a responsibility that each and every single one of us carry to create space, to honor other women, to encourage other women. That is a responsibility that we carry whether we know these women or not. Already, y'all, patriarchy is extremely rough. Therefore, in patriarchy, women are opposed against each other. And if we don't push back on that patriarchal reality, we are going to continue to look like we fight one another and we want to keep each other down. The reality of my life has been that women are absolutely amazing. But I know that there are a lot of you who come to me, who talk to me in our coaching sessions, telling me that, listen, that has not been the case in your own experience. And I'm really hoping that through the conversations that we're going to have with our guests about how they show up as the keepers of themselves and the keepers of other women, how that can teach us how to actually show up effectively for one another. This theme this year is going to be elaborated in so many different ways. So when you come and join us for our ETK Hub After Work right here in Geneva, you're going to confront some of the questions and some of the reflections that I want to stay with us as we really navigate what it means to be each other's keeper. And if you are across the West African continent, and we're also going to the southern part of Africa this year, we're going to be coming to you with what we're calling My Sister's Keeper networking events. We're coming out because we want to facilitate these conversations where we get to sit with ourselves to understand how are we truly the keepers of other women. Or where might we be missing it? What are the things that might be happening in our lives where we're not truly showing up effectively as each other's keepers to understand where that brokenness might be coming from? I really think this theme is also a challenge for us to confront where our jealousies might be coming from, our envy, our comparison might be coming from, where it might be coming from as women. And I truly believe that when we confront those things within ourselves, we give ourselves permission to go on a healing journey. And when we go on a healing journey, we give ourselves permission to eventually show up in the very best of who you are. One thing about understanding on how to be each other's keepers is that you cannot be a keeper of other women if you are not a keeper of yourself. You cannot be a keeper of other women if you're not a keeper of yourself. The women who have kept me, I have learned from them how to keep myself, because these are women who've done the hard work necessary to heal themselves. They're women who've done the hard work necessary to build the best of who they are. They're educated women. They're women with a character that is admirable. So there are women you see, they're beautiful, and they show up in the world with so much confidence because they've done the inner work within themselves. And because they are so healed and understand whatever it is that they have to offer as special and unique, they're not intimidated by other women. They're not intimidated by smarter women. They're not intimidated by more intelligent women. They're not intimidated by more beautiful women, because they understand what they uniquely have to offer to the world. So the conversation around being each other's keepers is a dual conversation. That starts off with you understanding that you got to be a keeper of yourself. You can only be a keeper of others when you are effectively a keeper of yourself. Going very deep within yourself to look at where things could be better in your own life so that when you show up in the world, you show up with your cup full and overflowing, understanding that you have kept yourself and as such can be a keeper of other women. I'm so excited. It's going to be such an incredible year of discussing what it means for us to be each other's keepers and growing to being the keepers of our sisters. So the lineup from ETK, y'all, it is absolutely, absolutely incredible. And truly, it's just so good to be back. It's great to be here in this format. 2026, y'all, already has an energy and a vibe that each and every single one of us must tap into. Do whatever it is that you can to step back from your own limitations, your own limiting beliefs, whatever noises and voices that are telling you that you are not enough. You are more than enough. And as we enter into this new year, carry that essence that is a true and full and authentic reflection of who you are, and let it be your guide and your grounding force in 2026. It is going to be an incredible year. I'm so excited. We're going to be talking about, like I said, traditional leadership topics, starting off with personal branding. So we're going to go to class as of next week. And then, of course, being our sister's keeper in line with our theme for ETK, which is My Sister's Keeper. 2026, we are here. I encourage you to subscribe to this podcast from whatever platforms where you listen to your podcast and keep tuning in. You have been listening to More with Dr. Elly. I will see you next time.